Hey everyone, it's Kate here. So today we're going to be working on this collage piece actually. And I had painted this background a while ago and I was kind of thinking to myself, what could I do now? If you look at the center of the paper, it actually, for whatever reason, some of it came up. So I had to think, how did I want to cover it? And I thought, how best but with collage. Now, usually when I do collage, I go pretty elaborate. This idea is not going to be nearly as elaborate. I just kind of want you to keep that in mind. So what I'm currently doing right now is I had wanted to make panels of color, not really stripes, but panels of color. And so I knew I wanted to do a lighter color like a blue, and so I decided to put down a coat of white first just to kind of make sure that the blue wouldn't get lost, because the colors in the background, they're actually pretty dark if you think about it. So I'm just working on both sides, and I already know what you're thinking. I'm the worst at painting a straight line. I even used a ruler and everything, but anyway, long story short, yeah, I don't really paint straight lines, but you know, hey, that's what makes it me. So I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this until we get it to a coverage that I like. So this paint is a Dina Wakley paint, and I actually, I'm almost out of it. So you can see here I'm cutting it open, but inside there's actually quite a bit of paint left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape out and use as much of it as I can. But you can see that it's having kind of a hard time going over the white. I don't honestly really use this paint too much anymore, so I'm kind of glad I'm getting towards the bottom. However, I find that this paint, if you want to use it like in a watercolor technique, it's fantastic for that. It really does well with water for whatever reason, and create some really cool effects. But what you'll see now is I'm just going over it. The color is called Sky. I'm going to do both sides so that it's done before choosing my next color. So I'm actually taking a spray bottle and squeezing just a tiny bit of water in there, and now I'm just taking plastic wrap. You could take a Ziploc bag, whatever you have on hand, and I'm actually going to create my very own Stay Wet palette, because I'm not going to use up all this paint tonight, and I don't want it to get hard. So by putting the plastic over this and then securing it with a hair tie, I'm able to keep the paint wet inside. Cool little trick, huh? Yeah, so back to painting. are moving into the collage part. I'm going to use my favorite glue stick. It's the UHU stick. I think that it works the best. I'm going to glue the back, and I'm also going to put glue into the book so it'll stick better. So that is what I'm doing there. You can see what I just pointed to is where the paint had kind of come up. And so now I'm just pasting this down. I'm going to actually use a bone folder currently, and that way just to kind of get it in the crease a little bit. Now I'm playing around with different collage images. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you while I play around with these is that I used to use liquid glue for this, which you would think would be better, but what I found is that it would distort the image a lot more. So now when I put my images down, I pretty much primarily use a glue stick. So one of the ideas here is I'm looking through a magazine because I was not settled. I had found a pair of eyes that I really liked, and I don't know what I did with them. So now I'm just kind of flipping back and forth through this to see if there's one that I like. I think I like this one. Come to find out, I'm not going to be happy with that. So I ended up not choosing these. As you can see, I'm trying to size it down, hoping that'll make a difference, but eventually I settle on those eyes. Now, I typically put a lot of butterflies in my work. So a while back, I had stamped watercolor paper, and then I had watercolored it just so I would have it on hand. Nothing fancy. Super simple to do. I like to put things in odd numbers, so I'll probably be working on putting like 3 in there would be my guess. So basically right now I'm just cutting them out. Now you might get the sense there I'm a little obsessed with Posca paint pens. For me, Posca is king. There is not a single paint pen out there that I think is better. Now, one of the things that I do with a lot of my collage pieces is I will kind of enhance what is given using Posca paint pens. So this is a technique I do all the time. I not only do it with the clothes that they're wearing, but I also do it with their actual bodies. Oftentimes I'll usually do it in the face, but I'm working on the dress right now and I'm using gold, and initially I did dots because I'm all about the dots, but I didn't like it, so I took a baby wipe. Now I want to warn you that you have to just barely touch it up, and you need to do it while it's still wet, because if you try to wipe it, what happens is a lot of the color comes up from the magazine. So you do have to kind of work quickly, and I have lots of things where that has happened. Now I do realize that there's kind of a glare and it's a little hard to see. I do apologize about that, but it is what it is, right? Okay, so basically now I'm just going ahead and I'm adding dots in all different kinds of colors, as you can